let me ask you guys, we haven't done sales meetings the last couple AEPs. Do you like not having sales meetings so you can just focus? Do you want to just have it like optional if you can make it, but watch it later type of thing? What's the feedback there?
Like a mid check-in. Like a mid check-in.
Mid check-in, or do you want me to like keep doing sales meetings on Mondays, and if you can't make it, you can watch them later, but I'll still keep doing this stuff and giving information as I can?
I'm fine with throughout AEP.
Yeah. Or do you want to just like not have to worry about it, not think about it? You don't need any consistent updates or
like every 3 weeks or something maybe.
every 3 weeks? Okay. One. What about online?
How close are you to having real-time data about how the market's responding?
Well, we'll have that for sure. And just so you guys know, like the realist time information, if you guys are using Rocket CRM, that's instant. We have that. Daily, we'll get stuff from Sunfire, but that only has stuff that comes from Sunfire, and then we'll have stuff as it comes from carriers. So the quickest is your self-reported stuff. It's also not the most accurate. The Sunfire stuff is extremely accurate and very helpful, but it just doesn't have anything that we have to put in through not Sunfire. So especially for some field agents or agents that are using other tools, it's like 80% captured there. So yeah, we'll definitely be putting out reports. Like I said in the prior 2 trainings, we'll basically know where we land as a company and as a team and kind of the industry trends the first 3 or 4 days of AEP, for sure the first week. So, that's why we've been talking about pre-sales and how important that is. But we'll get into all that here in just a minute. I appreciate that. I'll probably do something like every 2 weeks and make it optional, just to get you guys, or if there's like more updates coming out, we'll just film videos or whatever and drop them into the Slack channels and things like that. Just make sure you guys are staying up to date with any important changes, like who's the latest to go commissionable and non-suppressed or unsuppressed, or maybe they'll unsuppress some stuff. Who knows? Just kind of getting back to as Dan and I have prepared for AEP and we've done these 2 rollout and trainings, I've been thinking about this thought consistently, because your level of success is exactly proportional to the amount of value that you provide. And I've heard that throughout my life and my career a lot, and it kind of bugged me a lot of times, because I was like, no, I'm getting underpaid here, or like I'm undercompensated or whatever. And if you think about everybody, right? Jobs, careers, the easiest things to do, the less stress, they're all oftentimes the least compensated, right? The easy jobs that we can get when we're teenagers, the fry cook, the whatever, the help people at Swig, you don't have to think very much. You just kind of show up and see what happens. They're the least compensated. They're the least valued. They're the least rewarded in society, right? The barrier to entry is the least. The amount of what it takes for you to be successful, the bar is very, very low. And as this industry has become much harder over the past couple years, I almost get sick of it. Like, when's it gonna get easy, or when are we not always going to have to be dealing with these high-level threats or all these big industry changes, or everything shifting one way or the other? When's it just going to be easy? And I know that it's never going to be easy, right? There always is going to be different challenges, and not just in our industry, but I have a lot of friends that are facing difficulties in other industries, and they're trying to get into this industry. I have a lot of friends that are selling solar, and that whole industry is collapsing because it's not being subsidized anymore, and they're all looking for something else. There's a lot of other people struggling to keep up with the times as AI comes and tech changes and eliminates people's jobs. And so my point is that we will always be compensated and rewarded by the market to the amount of problems that we're able to solve or the level of value that we're able to provide. And for us here at, being insurance agents, there's a lot of ways that we can do that. And there's a lot of things that we can continue to do. But I want you all to be able to continue to focus on adding value so you can be appropriately and adequately compensated. And one of the things that I love about this industry is basically the sky's the limit, right? You can make as little or as much money in this industry as possible. It's completely up to you and your trajectory, the way you want to take your career, whether you're, starting out as a new agent or, you've taken a job to learn the business and eventually you want to transition into, high-paid corporate structure management, whether you want to get into the health insurance provider side of things or whether you want to grow your business. And you can grow your business to whatever size you are able to achieve that, right? And same thing with your career and the way you're compensated. It's the same thing with your business. Your business will be worth the amount of value that it's able to provide to the marketplace, right? Or the amount of problems that you're able to solve. And these are just some skills that I know are valued in the marketplace to help consumers, to build a business, to help build a team, to help make a company. Ultimately, I don't care what business it is, whether it's this business, whether it's Agent Boost, whether it's United Healthcare, whatever it is. If you can help that company be successful and make money or save money or be more efficient, the more of that you can do, the more value, the more you're going to be appropriately compensated, right? And I think all of us want to figure out ways continually how we can make more money. But you have to always be putting yourself in that mindset of like, what are my gaps, right? And one of the things that I love is people who are always in a growth mindset. People who are wanting to try to continue to level up. They're trying to add skills. They're trying to add these different things so they can increase their value to the marketplace, right? Some things like leadership. There's always a huge need for leadership, guys. And leadership, especially in a sales environment, goes one of two ways. I've heard all these different fancy statistics about it takes X amount of positive people to offset one negative people. And we all know that, like, on sales floors, the negative people exist. It doesn't matter if you're, an independent agent out here in the field and you show up at one of these events or, a rollout or something, and all you have to say is, complaining about how difficult it is, talking about wanting to get out of the industry, complaining about this, that, or the other, or whether you're in a sales field and you're the one that's always complaining, you always have a problem, right? And I've been that person before. In my mind, a positive perspective, because I cared, I've been the person that was influential one way or the other, where I could either lift up the whole sales team or I could crash the whole mentality of that sales floor, depending on how I was feeling about things. And early on in my sales career, I liked to kind of almost be a pain in the ass to management, and just to like get it my way, right? And then as I got a little bit older and more mature, I realized there was no value in that, and that didn't help anybody. It might have helped myself in my own process to get stuff off my chest, but it didn't help anybody else. And nobody cared about that. Nobody wanted to reward that. Nobody wanted me to be in leadership, even though I was always selling, a lot. So I changed that over my life and my career. And that leadership, if it's great, you can help a lot of other people and be rewarded for it. I don't even need to name some of the people who have been in the organization or the ecosystem that have been some of the negative people or the toxic people, because we all know who they are. And nobody, like, you can't, so my point is you can be a leader in a negative way, and it's not going to help your career. I could literally start listing out agents and people who have been here, like, very easily, and you all would go, oh yeah, well, guess what? They're not in this business anymore. None of them. And if you're one of those people, you're not going to stay in the business, and you're going to be on to your next thing, and you're going to be on to your next thing, and you're always going to have something to complain about, and you're always going to find the issues that are there, and you're going to be in the same damn place that you are 20 years from now as you are right now, with the same mindset and that same attitude, okay? Same thing that goes with like social influence. Those are highly, look, social media influencers are like our modern celebrities. They're more compensated than, you know, actors and sports athletes a lot of times now, because when you have that influence, that's a very highly compensated skill. It's a very well-paid skill set. And that same thing applies, and it ties into leadership with like your social influence. How can you influence the clients that you're working with? It's a sales skill as well, right? How do you influence those people? Emotional intelligence. This is a huge underrated thing, I feel like, where you can tell, you know, you can read people. And your ability to read people, again, a lot of times very good salespeople and agents have a high EQ, a high emotional intelligence, where there's subcontext, there's going on where you can figure out and feel what you need to say to people, how you need to help them without, you know, reading through some process or some sales script or being told what they need exactly, right? That's a very underrated skill set. Communication, your ability to communicate effectively and be able to get your message across. All of these things, guys, these all make up the dynamics of a really great insurance agent or a salesperson, okay? Resilience. This is huge, and I'll talk about it on the next slide, but I think most people struggle with resilience day to day, month to month, year over year. And I have a slide a little bit later that basically says your success through your life is going to be your ability to be uncomfortable as long as possible, as consistently as possible over long periods of time. And that may mean, look, we are all in a sales environment, all of us in this call, whether we're, you know, doing telesales or out meeting people in person. A lot of times that's uncomfortable for a lot of us, whether you're doing like door-to-door sales or cold calling people or you're taking rejection over the phone. It's really difficult. I don't care who you are. That's why sales positions are generally much more highly compensated than a lot of other positions. I was talking to my daughter about it. She just got her nursing degree and she's getting a job as a nurse. And she saw one of my posts about, you know, like salespeople and what they can make. She's like, that's like way more than what I'm making as a nurse, and I had to go to school. I'm like, well, it's hard in a different way. You know, like, yes, nursing is very valuable and whatever, but the mindset and the skill set that it takes to have that resilience is difficult. And so it can be highly compensated, right? Sales ability, that goes, you know, without saying. Networking, your ability, look guys, a lot of the agents and people that we have on this team have been brought over by other people. Networking, your ability to trade influence and convince people and network, but ultimately networking and the people who are good networkers are able to add value. They don't view relationships as transactional. They're able to help people, and they get that association, they get that trust, that credibility with other people by the value that they're able to provide others. Talent management, right? There is a big benefit or income earning potential if you can be good at managing other people. And frankly, one of the things that I've been really annoyed about over the past 5 or 6 years in the Medicare space is the amount of supervisors and managers that I've seen come out of a lot of these other orgs, specifically, you know, these telesales organizations. And right now, guys, as we've seen the collapse of the eHealth, the GoHealth, the Transacts, a lot of these people laying off, there are literally hundreds of people who are sales supervisors looking for jobs. And I feel like a lot of those people, because I've interviewed a ton of them, a lot of them didn't even have the skill set that I want. And the skill set is, how do you teach other people to be successful in sales, right? How do you replicate? If you can master that skill set in this industry, the sky's the limit, right? And if I've been decent at one thing, maybe it's this, that we've been able to teach people how to be successful and replicate that sales process and be able to take, you know, spread that fire to another person and say, this is how I've been able to do it. This is what's been successful for me. Let me help you do it. And every other person that you can teach and get that person to also be successful, that is a highly compensated skill, right? And the more you can do it, the bigger sales team you can build, the more value you can add. And a lot of times I get these managers who all they want to do is basically be like time card micromanagers or something like that, or they don't have that skill set. It was like the old adage, those who can't play coach or whatever like that, or those type thing. And it's like, look, I want our leaders to be the best at what they do. I want them to be able to be successful. I want them to know how they can teach other agents how to write a lot of business and write quality business and be a good agent for these consumers. That's how we win, right? Consistency. I talk about this all the time, and a lot of agents on this call, a lot of agents in the field, their biggest obstacle to them hitting that next level or achieving their goals or building a team or growing is a lack of consistency. It's like, hey, I can do it, I'm great, I'll show up, I'll kill it during AEP, and then for the rest of the 8 months of the year, I'm going to be, working part-time effort or less, right? And that lack of consistency, day in, day out, and being productive during that time will build a high level of, eventually you'll have a great book of business, you'll have a great skill set, your clients will trust you, you'll have that credibility. If you're trying to build a team, your team will be able to rely on you because they know you're around and you're able to support them. It's super important and very, a very high value skill. Problem solving. Look, a lot of things that we do in this company have come up from ideas from other agents and things like that. Your ability to, see a problem in the marketplace that exists and offer a solution that pays off, that's a very highly compensated skill as well. And then above all, how are you able to generate revenue, income for yourself, income for the company you're working for your partners? The more income and the better you are at generating revenue, the more you're going to be compensated in any marketplace, right? That's the most obvious and most easy to reward and compensate, okay? So, again, your ability to do uncomfortable and hard things consistently over long periods of time is the key to sustained growth and success. And if all of us are being realistic, if we're all being self-aware, your ability to do this or not throughout the course of your life has probably put you in the position that you want to be or prevented you from getting to that position that you want to be. And I only bring this up because I know we're about to get into the grind of annual enrollment. And I'll just tell you, if you can learn to just love that process, if you can learn to not focus on the suck, if you can learn to focus on the outcomes, on the sales that are coming, the people that you're helping, you're much easier going to be able to get through it. When I think of sales during AP, I think of, it was hard work, but I don't ever think back about all the people who were rude to me or whatever. I'm able to think about it in a very positive mindset and be like, well, I helped all these people, I added all these clients, I made their lives better with their health and wealth, and that's what I take away, not, oh, I'm just this scourge on society and I just bothered all these people all the time and they all hate me. See what I'm saying? Whatever it is you guys do, whether it be, if you can master this, doing uncomfortable things for as long as possible, as consistently as possible, you will continue to grow and progress throughout your life and your career. Financially, mentally, physically. Okay, here's the secret, guys. It never gets easier, right? The bigger you build a business, the more success you have, the bigger book of business you get, the harder it gets. It doesn't get any easier. And that's why I'm saying it's so important for you to just adapt that mindset of like, it doesn't matter what the problems are. It doesn't matter. I'm going to show up every day and I'm going to have a good attitude. I'm going to have a good mindset and I'm going to offer solutions to that problem, right? I'm going to be able to help people consistently over time. And guess what? The more you do this, the happier, it's kind of a counterpoint. The happier that you'll be, the more fulfilled you'll feel. The more success you have in your career and life, you're going to, it'll self-perpetuate. It'll motivate you to keep you going because you'll feel fulfilled. You'll feel, that's what success is feeling happy with what you're doing and how you do it, okay? And I promise you guys you can have this in this industry because I see it all the time. And it's what we do helping people, vulnerable populations, oftentimes with their health and wealth, is a noble profession. It's something that's great. And what we all do and what we can offer the marketplace is needed, especially right now. And I am excited about the difficulties because I know that we're seeing less competition out there. We're seeing more agents dropping out of the industry. We're seeing more people give up on this opportunity. And I know that that's just going to create future opportunity and success for those of us who are willing to apply these ideas and mindset and get through this AEP and this next OEP and continue to be the ones that are offering value and solutions to the marketplace, okay? So that's what I got, guys, for the motivation portion of it. I want to get just a couple reminders because most of you all went to the training, right? The full few-hour training, kind of prepping for AEP. So most of this stuff should not be new. But again, just wanted to remind you guys, October 1st, AEP starts, right? We can pre-sell. If you are on this call and you haven't listened to that training or you weren't on that training about pre-sales, make sure you reach out to your team leads or a manager or somebody here at Agent Boost of what is compliant and what is appropriate. But just a reminder, you guys can do a full compliant enrollment. We just cannot submit it until October 15th. And we must state on there, hey, we cannot submit this until October 15th, and we have to get verifiable permission on or after October 15th, okay? Again, just as a reminder, if it goes past 3 or 4 days of AEP starting, so we're getting to the 18th, 19th, let's redo the scopes of let's redo the statements of understanding on a recorded call just to make sure that we're being extra thorough and we're taking an extra step to make sure we're doing it compliant. If you guys submit an application or an enrollment after October 15th without verifying, either in writing or on a recorded line with those clients, and you guys get a complaint, we are not going to be able to defend you, okay? So we kind of beat that horse to death. Okay, as part of that, one final reminder, we don't want sales raptors, people who are just trying to process a quick enrollment and get a commission. As I talked about in that training, the carriers and Humana's going first, they are now having quality metrics where they want they've actually assigned a percentage to it. 68% of your business must stick between accretion and rapid disenroll, or they're going to put you on essentially a watch list and you may possibly be terminated. So if we haven't taken the message yet, the carriers are really going to force this. Write quality business, guys. Write business with good intents. Make sure they know why they're getting on those plans. Make sure they know who to follow up with. We've seen a big increase on our accretion and our retention, and so write quality business. Throughout annual enrollment, this is one thing I forgot to talk about, but one thing I always did was every Sunday night when I was home and my kids were in bed or whatnot and my wife went to sleep, I would check every one of my prior week's enrollments, okay? And I would do that all throughout AEP to make sure nobody dropped off, because you're not the only agents out there. Our noise isn't the only noise they're hearing. So I would make sure that during AEP, would check on my people and make sure that their enrollment didn't drop off, that they didn't enroll with somebody else, okay? You should write policies that you expect are going to go in effect on January 1st, and you are the ones all responsible for ensuring that that business effectuates, okay? Again, we want to focus on LTV, lifetime value of these consumers, placing them on a good policy that works, focusing on effectuation, pipeline management. I'm going to verify that this is ready for October 1st for everybody waiting for AEP for the eligibility, and then the AEP pre-sales, okay? If you have somebody in the AEP pre-sales column in any of these CRMs, you got to move them, because otherwise we'll move them out for you. There should be nothing in there prior to October 1st on the AEP pre-sales category, okay? Quiz. If you put somebody as a pre-sale in that column, what percentage do I think are going to actually turn into sales the first 3 days of AEP? 80%, okay? It'll really be 90% if you guys do a good job, but I want an 80% threshold. So again, If somebody has 40 in there and they enter 4 the first 3 days of AEP, I'm going to go, what did you do? Why did you scam me? You know? In this community center, guys, all those documents that I've posted are there. I'll probably post them again if we can't find them. All those spreadsheets and like trackers that I'd had for AEP in the supplement comparison, I had that in there as well. Reminder, guys, $500 referral bonus for agents when they become active. As kind of counterintuitive as it is, annual enrollment is actually a great recruiting season for us because a lot of agents realize they're not in a situation or they're not with an ecosystem or structure to have success, and they're frustrated and they're looking for something else, okay? So as you guys hear about other agents, reminder, we've got this $500 referral bonus for when agents become active. And as you have friends and family that are in the industry, if their situation isn't working out, or if you're looking for someone else new to get in the industry, we'd love to teach and train them, okay? Dan and I, our big initiative personally is we have a lot of friends and family and people reaching out and younger kids, friends of our children and things like that are looking for a career and an opportunity, and we're really bringing a lot of new people into the industry as well. Then a reminder, Trip guys, I'm going to have more incentives to roll out. We just got to put some final touches on those probably today for pre-sales, for AEP in addition to the trip. And then just a reminder, this is how the points are calculated on the Medicare side of things. So, WellCare is 5 points, Golden Rule 3, and the rest 2.5, and Allstate 2. One thing I'll tell you guys, because we've been pushing the ancillary products as well. The agents who do a good job of doubling up and adding some ancillary products to some of these, they're going to get double point bonuses, and it's really going to help you qualify for that trip, okay? I'll send out a new report too, standings of where everybody's at, and I'll post those in Slack today as well. But that's basically what I've got for today, guys. Any final questions or concerns that y'all have going into AEP? Everyone's ready? I feel like we'll need to do like a big cheer or something like that. Like get ready for it. Hype it up like some of those sales orgs. Maybe y'all don't need that. Okay, appreciate y'all. Thank you. Have a great one.